doesn't have the best manners.
All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 14th. It's the monthly meeting of the planning board. If everybody could stand and say the pledge of allegiance.
Excuse me, they're backwards.
Maybe you should say
All right. All right. Oh, one second. There we go. There we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, well, thank you. The first item on our agenda is 1073 Main Street, Next Grid, Martin modification, field change request. Presenting that will be Michael Patterson.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Good evening, Chairman and member of the board. My name is Mike Pattison. I'm located at 35 Heritage Lane in Stowe, Massachusetts. I'm here to represent NextGrid for this minor modification request. NextGrid is formally requesting a minor modification to the existing planning board decision regarding the large-scale ground-mounted solar facility located at 1073 Main Street, Millis, Mass. The original. Sorry.
Just went to sleep.
Yeah. The original planning board approval was dated October 11th of 2022. We are requesting a minor modification to add a 15 foot by 30 foot concrete pad for the installation of a backup battery system for the building. This battery would be a 499 kilowatt, 1950 kilowatt hour system, able to provide a maximum of 499 kilowatts for 3.9 hours. This additional battery system is to be utilized in two ways. The first is to be used in the Massachusetts Connected Solutions Program, which utilizes battery systems to reduce the load on the electrical grid during medium and high peak daily demands for the months of June and September. And the other use would be as a backup battery for the Gross facility. Proposed equipment pad is 15 by 30 and it is located at the east corner of the building. So there's an area that you can see it has a hedge around it. There's one existing tree. Our plan is to remove that tree and put in the 15 by 30 foot pad for the battery system and its equipment. And the location was chosen to stay away from any type of wetlands or woodlands. Also, it's located within 100 feet of two existing fire hydrants.
Okay, those are the two questions that I was going to ask.
Oh,
So that's good, you answered both of those. All right, so basically, you're putting it, it's not near the wetlands, and one of the other questions was, because the battery backups sometimes have the chance of catching fire, having it near the hydrants wouldn't be a bad thing. Is there any, and just asking the question, is there any regulations on battery systems that the fire department has to be aware of? Is it like propane where they have to be notified?
Notified of installation?
If it's a lithium battery that could catch on fire?
So there.
I'm just asking.
No, I understand. So we try and find, what we follow is NFPA 855, which has certain specifics of where it's located, how far away it can be from any type of like flammable material, such as brush, trees, buildings, such like that. It's a minimum of 10 feet. We're proposed being 20 feet away from the building. It will also, and then there's certain specifics of like what is actually required for the system. If like, so let's say something happened and a fire actually happened. So the systems that we design, they are contained in cabinets. So each battery system is contained in a steel cabinet. It has a, I'm gonna butcher this word, deflagration panel up on the top. Basically, it's a metal panel that has a rubber seal that melts at a certain temperature to vent any type of gases or pressure for fire safety. So you can leave the front access panel shut. Within it, the system also has, inside it has heat or temperature probes within each module in different areas throughout the battery pack. And it also has a gas detection as well, carbon dioxide. And then, so if either of those issues happens, it has an automatic system, basically it shuts itself down, isolates itself, and then it has a horn and a strobe, and then it also notifies their company that manages it, and then the fire department is called.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Patterson, I was trying to listen and look at the map at the same time. Did you say that each battery is separately contained in those boxes?
Correct, so it'll have a concrete pad, and then I think this one will require 4 individual cabinets. So
Okay.
each cabinet has like a maximum capacity they can provide for kilowatt hours.
Okay, all right, no, thank you for
okay.
clarifying. I just,
Yeah.
like, as I said, I was trying to read and listen, and apparently I'm not doing well with multitasking tonight. So thank you.
Go ahead. Good, Jim.
Yeah, just how is it gonna be powered? I think you asked, but,
How is it gonna be powered?
yeah, is it gonna be gas or?
No,
It's just battery backup?
It's a
Full
battery.
backup,
So
okay.
the idea, it is behind the meter, so it'll
So
be
it'll come
charged
back
by the
From the,
building's meter
yep,
connection. The idea is to charge it in like low peak times, such as like early morning, and then also at late at night. So that's when it's charged, and then it can be used to discharge at any time.
how tall are the panel, the cabinets? About
6 feet tall.
6 feet tall? And I really couldn't see where, so is it on the parking spaces?
So that's the tree that's gonna be removed.
So it's on the side of the building itself?
Correct.
So there's the,
So there's the concrete pad,
yep,
20-foot separation, and then there is a fire hydrant here,
yep,
and there's a fire hydrant here.
yep.
I think this one is, I think like 75,
That's
60,
yeah,
70.
Yeah. And my only other question is being the operator of the cemetery there, I mean, we're supposed to get a fence before any of this work begins. Is that, none of that has been taken care of?
Construction hasn't started for
Okay.
the ground-mounted solar array either.
Okay, so even when before this work begins, you know, the fence still needs to be installed and,
Understood. Our idea is, this came on and we decided, might as well just wait, permit this, and then do one entire construction process for both projects.
And the only other thing, Jim, you had mentioned on that is that you were going to coordinate with the cemetery on if you guys had a service. I think that was a part of our decision.
I'm sorry for the,
They were going to coordinate if there was a service, if there was work going on.
yeah, I mean, that during the service, we'll let you know and you won't do any work.
Oh,
while-
absolutely.
Yeah,
No, I
Jack.
understand.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Try and be as respectful as possible.
Are there gonna be any bollards installed in front of this?
Usually the design is chain link fence, and then we also do bollards since there's the access road right there.
All right, any questions from the audience? Go ahead, Scott.
Scott Fusey, 411 Union. You say cabinets, is it gonna be like in a building and all that stuff and hidden?
No, it'll be in this area here.
Okay,
It's a concrete pad, and then it has, I think it's like 4 to 6 individual metal cabinets. They're 6 feet tall.
okay.
So it'll be here, and I mean, obviously there'll be a fence around it, so it'll be partially hidden.
And the other thing, is there any noise with this, or any kind of noise or anything like that?
This should.
Thank you.
It'll have an inverter, and the spec sheets for the inverter say that maximum decibel is 60 decibels, measured at 3 meters. No, excuse me, 3 feet.
So that, and that's an industrial area.
This conversation right now is
No, that's a
higher
good
than
question.
60
That's a good
decibels.
question.
No, absolutely, it's one we get a lot.
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm not here for this. Jeffrey Mushnick, 9 Augusta. I'm not here for this, but since the bollards aren't on the plan, and I've seen other things happen where they say, whoops, it's not on the plan, it doesn't have to happen. So should you require that the bollards get put on the plan as a safety precaution? Just in case, because we don't want somebody hitting a lithium battery.
So this is just like the site plan, obviously, so we haven't submitted for a building permit yet, and that'll be more in-depth design with the bollards included.
Thank you.
All right, no, another good question. All right, so if there is no other discussion, this is the public hearing, so I think the.
It is another public
Oh, it is,
hearing, so
okay,
it's
cool.
discussion.
Okay,
So you can just make a motion
All right.
to vote on the request.
all right, I make a motion that we approve the field change for the installation of the concrete pad at 1073 for battery backup.
Second. Oh,
Oh, thank you. Just to clarify, it's 1073 Main Street. So anyhow, the motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, passed unanimously, great, thank you,
Thank you so much.
great, thank you. All right, if you just came in, if you could do us a favor and sign in, please. All right, next item on the agenda is a special permit, temporary structures, public hearing for 140 Causeway Street, Windy Knot Farm, temporary tent installation, wedding reception.
Town of Millis Office of the Planning Board notice of public hearing. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 40A, Section 11 Mass General Law, the Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, at 7:40 PM in the Veterans Memorial Building, Room 229, 900 Main Street, Millis, on the application of Kelly McLean, 140 Causeway Street, Millis, Mass., requesting a special permit under Section 13, Special Permit Conditions J, temporary structure, of the zoning bylaw of the town of Millis for the installation of a 40-foot by 80-foot tent structure for a wedding reception at 140 Causeway Street, Millis, Mass. Map 13, Parcel 8, property owned by Jen Siskewski. I apologize if I've destroyed your last name. A copy of the application and site plan is on file with the Office of the Town Clerk and on the Planning Board's webpage. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the application should appear at the time and place designated. Richard Nichols, Chair.
All right, so if you could let us know what your, and I think there was a, I don't know if you have the nifty handout that, I don't know if you have the folks at home can see it, but if you want to let us know what your, the plan is.
Hi, everyone. My name's Cassie Silva. I'm here on behalf of my client, Kelly McLean, and the property owner, Jen Siskewicz.
Siskevich.
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 The property is located at 140 Causeway Street in Millis, also known as Windy Knob Farm. We are requesting a special permit for the temporary tent structure. It will be approximately 40 feet by 80 feet. It will be erected by Evu Tents, which is a licensed contractor. They have a contractor supervisor's license. It will be erected on August 16th, 2024, and be taken down by August 19th, 2024. The use will be for a wedding reception with approximately 150 guests, and there will be egress signs posted for all exit points, and no propane use on behalf of the catering company.
All right, well, thank you for letting us know on that. So just one thing on that, we did go through this with Tangerini's Farm. So one question that I would bring up is, which we asked them, was parking. So we're on that, I mean, I know it's a field, so you're planning on parking in the field?
Yes, so it will be under, if you have the map, there's,
Yep.
and I have a black and white version of it, but there's trees on the bottom right-hand side. Under those trees will be, cars will be lined up there, and we'll have signage for that.
There's a, in our bylaw, there's a list of items that we're supposed to make sure that we cover. So public safety in events of building failure or collapse. So I assume that you guys put the tents up, but I'm not sure that that necessarily would be something that you have dealt with before. Proposed maintenance procedures to keep the structures in good order, repair, and condition. It's up to 3 days, so I'm not too worried about that. The activities conducted in the structures would be the wedding, and then number 4 would be any unusual impacts the structures may have, such as light reflection or generation. And same thing, you're in the field, in the middle of nowhere, so that really shouldn't be an issue. Okay, and sorry, and Camille, just let me know that fire chief did review this application and approve it. So it's a pretty standard thing for a wedding. Unfortunately, the way that our bylaw right now is set up is that there's as our town council said, when we set up the bylaw, we cast a wide net. So on something that is simple as this, we bring you in here. However, it's more for like tents that were set up for a long period of time. We have some in town that have set up for 6 months, which is great, but obviously that's a different animal than what you're trying to do right now. So, others, any other comment from the board? Okay. All right. So any comments from the audience? Sorry.
Jeffrey Mushnick, 9 Bogastow Circle. I'm a direct abutter to Mrs. Siskevich. That's how you say it. And we have had problems in the past with loud parties that have gone on for a long, long time. So I understand now this is just temporary for those 3 days in August. But in the bylaws, you specifically speak about the lighting. What about sound? That was the problem. We didn't have a problem with lighting, but we had a terrible problem with music, noise. Police were called. It was a big mess. Do you have anything to say on that particular subject?
The wedding will be ending at 10 p.m.
Okay. What time will it start?
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but we just got a notification from the cable. If you can move the mic closer to you, because they're not picking up what you're saying. Thanks.
The wedding will begin, I believe guests will begin arriving around 4 p.m. and then ceremony will be at 5:30 or 4:30, and it will be over by 10 p.m.
Okay. Are you only involved in this particular wedding?
I am a wedding planner.
Okay, so you're not working for Jen?
No.
And then using the property as a, and the property's beautiful, it's great, I'd love to be married there myself. But I just don't want it to turn into a Glen Ellen and then affect the neighbors, because there's other neighbors here on Bogastow as well that directly abut, and it's a problem.
This is the only event I am doing at this property.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, will there be a police detail? There must be, right? I mean,
I was not made aware that
Okay.
there would be a police detail.
just a question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that. Yeah.
Just,
Go ahead, Scott.
Scott Fusey, 411 unit, they have a field to be parking in, so there won't be cars on the street, which won't pose a public safety issue.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
They will be parking on the grass.
All right, thank you.
All right, anything else? Oh, sorry, somebody else. Oh,
The boss is getting up, everybody pay attention.
Sorry. Helen Daly, 11 Bogastow Circle. And my question is, you're just doing this one affair, but will that tent be usable for the other 3 days that it's there? I mean, could it be used for anything during those 3 days? Or are we just specifying this one wedding?
Well, that's a good question. My guess is that because the person who's representing the tent company she rented it for 3 days. I don't think she's going to let anyone else, but we'll let her attest to that.
That's right, yeah. The applicant, Kelly McLean, has rented this exclusively for the wedding. The tent company usually just comes a day earlier to erect it, and then they'll come back that Monday on a business day to take it down. So there are no other events planned for that weekend.
Okay, well, as Jeff said, it's in my backyard, so just concerned about the noise. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, I make a motion to approve special permit, temporary structures for 140 Causeway Street, Windy Dog Farm for a temporary tent installation.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, great, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okey dokey. Next item on the agenda is special permit with, for site plan approval, public hearing continued for 121 Norfolk Road.
Town of Millis Office of the Planning Board notice of public hearing. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 40A, Section 11, Mass General Law, the Planning Board will hold a public hearing on May 14th, 2024 at 7:50 PM in the Veterans Memorial Building, Room 229, 900 Main Street, Millis, on the application of Wireless Edge Towers 2 LLC, care of Michael R. Dolan Esquire, Brown Rudnick LLP, 1 Financial Center, Boston, 02111, requesting a special permit with site plan approval under Section 12Q and Section 13C and N of the zoning bylaws of the Town of Millis for the construction of a 150-foot above-ground level monopole communications tower and associated appurtenances to be located at 121 Norfolk Road, map 39, parcel 43, Millis, Mass., property owned by the Town of Millis. Copy of the application and site plan is on file with the Office of the Town Clerk and can be viewed at the town's website. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the application should appear at the time and place designated. Richard Nichols, Chair.
And the applicant asked for this to be continued without discussion to Tuesday, June 11th at 7:50. So, we're gonna push that. And so we do need to make a motion to, okay, so I make a motion to continue the application till June 11th at 7:50.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Next item, special permit for site plan approval, public hearing continued.
That's
That's
the
8:05.
so you can take, you can jump to Acorn Place discussion.
Okay, all right, so with that, Acorn Place Senior Residential Community Development Extension Request. So we'll start off with the clubhouse elimination request. We had our council review the documents from that were provided in the settlement. And according to town council in Millis, just trying to find it, did you get that one?
No.
Yeah. Oh, I should have, sorry. I'm paraphrasing now, sorry. Yeah, so to paraphrase on that, the lawyer for the town said that, in their opinion, the clubhouse was optional. And because it was optional and it was in the deed as written as optional, the planning board was basically under no obligation to discuss and or weigh in on that. So basically, we're stepping away from that discussion. So unfortunately, that's something that you guys will have to deal with, however you're gonna deal with it. It just really is not under our purview because of that, that agreement. The other thing was on the, we did get a list back from the developer that we had forwarded to you guys on items that they have completed. They are still gonna keep on picking away at the items, a couple at a time, but they do have, you do have an end date on it. And we will still drag them in here monthly. The developer technically is bankrupt and is really under no obligation to do some of these items. However, they are agreeing to make sure that happens, and we'll do the best we can to make sure that we hold their feet to the fire to get it done. Because we want to close it up as much as you guys, so. That's pretty much where it's at. Jim, was there anything on your end?
Not that I'm sure the neighbors see me drive through there quite often, to see if there has been any. There is a snail's pace of work being, done. We could have built, well, we can see the sidewalks are being installed. I haven't driven there in the last couple of days. Has any asphalt? Well, I'll wait till I'm sure somebody's gonna get up and speak on behalf of that. But I could see that the structure of the sidewalks were put in. the detention basins that were reported, they were cleaned, they're gonna have to be cleaned again. So, I mean, what was said was being done from attorney, he's, they've been doing it.
So we're picking away at it. Steve, did you want to get up and say anything?
Hello, my name's Steve Carton. I'm the president of the Acorn Place Board of Trustees. Just want to clarify, so a couple months ago, Bob Fox's attorney filed to modify the special permit to remove the clubhouse. Is that just been withdrawn and that's off the table? And
That's off the table.
okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
No, and we, literally, what happened was, we were confused. So we took it, and we had Mr. Cannon and Art and the town attorney talk to one another to clarify what was going on, because we were confused, because there was the bankruptcy, the settlement, the documentation from the original, whatever it was, the deed. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and the final take of it was that the planning board has no authority in, or we don't have to weigh in on the clubhouse. And basically, we can just step away from it. So that's what we're choosing to do.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I do sympathize with, I know that one fellow came in, and I can understand his disappointment, 100%. I just, unfortunately, there's really nothing we can do about it as a group, so.
Okay, and just a comment, I mean, as Jim said, there's been some progress, it's slow, the grounding for the sidewalks have been in, and we're monitoring the situation, and we've been in communication with Mr. Fox, so we're monitoring and we'll let you know. So I assume that Mr. Cannon and/or Mr. Fox will be required to show up next month, and then we can see where we are then.
Yeah, we have them slated for the June meeting.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Anything else? Thanks.
all right, good, thank you. All right, so I make a motion to grant when's our next meeting?
June 11th.
Oh, I'm
What do we do?
sorry.
We have a 1 month?
Extension,
Yeah,
okay.
When's our next meeting?
Our next meeting is June 11th.
All right, so I make a motion to grant an extension of the special permit for Acorn Place for, until June 11th.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we did what we could. All right. Next slide, 805 is still okay, we'll do with other business. In other business, there are a couple items that we wanted to look, and folks, if you could do me a favor, we're just gonna continue our meeting. If you could speak out, please, I appreciate it. Our next item is some possible bylaw changes. The first item would be special permit conditions for temporary structures, i.e. the tent, that we would like to modify. Like I said, with the town council said that it seems like the regulations are set up with a casting of wide net, smaller venues for weddings and things like that, maybe something that we may want to think about making it a little easier, because the special permit takes basically over 30, 40 days. There's people who may not know that, who want to have a wedding or whatever, or a graduation, and they'll come in and go to rent a tent and find out it's 30, 60 days. And so, personally, I think that that's a bit overstepping on I understand we want to control things, however, for a 3-day event or a tent that's up for a short term, I think we're just being a bit overbearing is the word I would say. So anyhow, that's up for discussion. So we want to talk about that and see if we can get something ready for the fall meeting. The other item would be signs and illumination. So we want to look at our sign bylaw and see if there are things that we want to add to it. We talked about some of the feathers, the things you see on the side of the road that go up, and they say pizza or chicken wings or whatever, and they go up and they're there for years. That may be something where we may want to modify the amount of time that those are able to stay up. The other thing is illumination for signs. Currently, our bylaw has it where all the signs need to be backlit. One of the things with that is, you know, on signs that have pricing or items that change, you know, that requires the business owner to go out and change stuff daily or whatever. So as much as, you know, we want to keep the, you know, country charm of Millis, same thing, it seems a bit unreasonable, at least on a smaller version, to have them, have the ability to change the signage, you know, update the gas prices, because they do it daily everywhere, within reason. You know, I think we'd be able to limit the size of the, whatever the sign is, and the number of the signs, but I think we should be fair to business owners, and make a modification to that, at least specific thing, so, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we're gonna start discussing them, good.
Oh, it's all, right now,
Okay.
we're just killing a few minutes till
Okay.
8:05, so you could, yeah.
So for the temporary structures, this tent is 3,200 square feet.
Yeah.
Currently have a 500-foot exemption. I think it would be prudent to keep it in place, but increase the size.
Yeah.
So maybe 2,000 feet or 1,500 feet. So a smaller tent can go up without any permit, without any.
No, and that's
To
what
do.
we're talking about. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no, you know, 150 people might be something where we may wanna, you know, we may wanna do it, but, you know, if you think of I think we rented like a 20 by 20 tent for my son's graduation.
It's only 400 feet.
Yeah,
That's
so-
well within the
yeah,
500.
yeah, yeah.
So something of this size,
Yeah.
40 by 80, 3,200 feet, you know, you want to make sure they have plans if the tent collapses.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a disaster, right?
No, I mean, it's reasonably, and parking, you know,
Yeah.
appropriate parking.
Right.
So, I mean, I think there is I think we could get to a size and, you know, that would do it. And the only other thing is to be, you know, I don't know how we reach out to people to let them know, hey, by the way, if you're looking to set a tent up, you're gonna need a 30, 60-day lead time. I mean,
Right.
to get it done. This one's going in August. They were lucky enough that they called ahead of time. We had other tents that they're doing a fundraiser. They call and they want to get the fundraiser going, and, you know, this is for a charitable group, and they call and we're like, well, it's 30 days to get the, you know, to get that done.
Right.
You know, or maybe there's a way that we can set up a, you know, a way to do it, you know, within one cycle of a meeting, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So we just, like I said, we're trying to be, if somebody wants to set a tent up, it shouldn't be a federal project.
Right.
So anyhow, those were my thoughts. And then there were other comments about, you know, on signage, you know, maybe there were comments about yard signs, like somebody had work done on their house, and there was a sign put up front, you know, how long that sign should stay there. You know, whether it's, you know, we could put, maybe it's, you know, I don't know, 60 days, and then it needs to be removed.
It's already in here that it's allowed while the work is being done, but that, it's supposed to come right down.
Okay.
There's no penalty listed, and I've never seen enforcement.
And you probably
Probably
won't, because
won't.
they probably don't, we probably don't have.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe that's something we could, well, in our thing of doing it, maybe we do it where maybe we extend the time a little bit and we do put it on there. You know, so if we have the condition that, you know, it would need to be removed or the building inspector, you know, and then we'd have to rely on the neighbors to call up, to call it in.
Do we do a final inspection if there's a building permit?
They do, but like I had my roof done,
Yeah.
and so the building inspector went through and he looked at the roof and said, it looks like a roof, and that was the inspection of the roof.
But that was at the end, right?
That was at the end, correct?
So sign, people sign when he's there.
Well, we could do it that way, yeah, I mean, but if we wanted to allow, you know, if the roof goes on, you know, obviously the contractor put it in, you know, Bob's Roofs, he wants to get, you know,
Sure.
you know, same thing as looking out to be, you know, if we're trying to be business friendly-ish type of thing, to have a sign up for 30 days in somebody's yard is really no sweat off and it snows.
Right. And a lot of times work will go on well past 30
Yeah.
days.
Oh, no, I
Catch up
guarantee.
with all of it.
Yeah. Like you said, we've seen signs that have been up for years,
Yeah.
just, but, all good things to discuss. so.
Well, and that is the only drawback, if you say that it's only during construction. I mean, there have been situations where, construction gets delayed, and it could be going on for months and months, and then you've got these signs are not designed to be out for 30 days, then they're tearing, they're wearing down, and so I think maybe having a time limit. I mean, again, we have the issue, no matter what, is enforcement. But I think it's something that, if you've got multiple signs up there and then they start littering the neighborhood, or, that does at least give something to the neighbors to say.
Well, and the feathers, I mean, the thing is, if you go down, 109, there's a certain location where there's a bunch of feathers, and then I think somebody else put some more of them. Those are the signs that go up and they kind of flap in the wind. It looks like you're down at Disneyland with, so, those may be something where those are limited, in that something where there's a business attached to that, where you could say, hey, if you want to have your fall sale, that's great, but they can only stay up for 30 days. So. Okey dokey, well, it's 8:05, so the next item on the agenda would be special permit with site plan approval, public hearing continued.
Town of Millis Office of the Planning Board notice of public hearing. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 48, Section 11, Mass General Law, the Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, at 8:05 p.m. in the Veterans Memorial Building, Room 229, 900 Main Street, Millis, on the application of Dimitri Tipadis, Dover Road Solar LLC, 400 Edgewater Place, Suite 570, Wakefield, Mass. 01880, requesting a special permit for site plan approval under Section 21, large-scale ground-mounted solar photovoltaic installation, and Section 13C of the zoning bylaws of the town of Millis for installation of a 498 kilowatt above-ground mounted solar array on property located at 140 Dover Road, Millis, Mass. Assessors map 53, lot 6. Property owned by BASF Corporation. Copy of the application and site plan is on file in the office of the town clerk and on the planning board's webpage. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the application should appear at the time and place designated. Richard Nichols, Chair.
And this one was also to be continued without discussion to Tuesday, June 11th at, all right, so I make a motion that we extend,
Continue.
we delay the discussion of this special permit until June 11th at 8:05.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right, great. Two other things, sorry. Okay.
Other than they did, after that meeting, that very next night, they shut the lights off
We'll
They-
update, yeah,
around the,
yeah. Well, that's
so
good.
you gotta give him, at least he paid attention to us.
Well, that guy did, we went, you didn't see the emails, but we went back and
Did
forth
you?
with were you copied of them?
No,
Oh, my God.
no.
Anyhow, there's a bit of a failure to communicate with the sign company in Texas. So anyhow, they're trying to figure it out,
Mhm.
so.
It was off, though.
Yeah, well, that's good, that was good that they did that. Hey, one thing, sorry, I wanted to bring up, Mike Gianpedro, the building inspector, did send us an email, and he said that, I'm gonna paraphrase it, he did want to comment on the agenda as a building official, that after giving it much thought, he would recommend this bylaw remain within the zoning bylaws. Temporary structures include tent and very large structures that can accommodate many occupants that are usually for functions, which may include entertainment. An event alcohol license by licensed authority, and the special permit requirement has a duty to ensure that the projects are reviewed within their jurisdiction to ensure public safety, etc. This process can be very helpful to other departments such as police, fire, board of health. building to and notify them of upcoming events and create a public hearing to give the opportunity for abutters and the general public to comment on such things. Although the building department is the permitting issue authority, in many cases, this venues go undetected without obtaining the provided permits, which leaving the town vulnerable or usually fire and police, having a chance of getting extra calls with functions are going on and not known. Furthermore, parking and handicapped access usually go undetected or not recognized the requirements of the issues after the issues arrive. So that goes back to what Alan had brought up, and I think it does make sense, larger tents, maybe we set a size limit. Obviously, the group that spoke before had a concern because of the event that had happened prior to that, and so that did bring up some concern. Also, long-term tents, which we have a couple in town, those are basically outdoor structures, so those ones definitely should be, make sure that they're safe and, they're gonna withstand the elements and they have the proper access to everybody, so I think we'll continue playing with this thing, and we'll get a bylaw together. Hopefully it won't be like the chicken bylaw that took us 3 years to figure out, but we could probably work on that and get something for the fall meeting. All right, and with that, I think that was the
July meeting?
of the items. Was there anything else that anyone have that wanted to bring up? So, I have to approve the minutes. Oh, no, and so I make a motion to approve the minutes from April 9, 2024 as written.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Just to let everybody know, the MBTA 3A committee will be meeting next Wednesday, the 22nd, at 7 o'clock in this room. We have what is hopefully bylaw with the final revised comments, edits that we'll be going over, so that we're hopefully still on track to be submitting that to the planning board at the June meeting. So if everything is finalized on Wednesday, I will be asking Jody to make sure that she forwards, or I'll tell her I'll forward it to you, so that the committee will have a few weeks to look it over. There are a lot of edits on this version, which unfortunately is my fault. But hopefully we are looking at, again, it's going to be next week to final discussion, but the acreage has been reduced down to 78 acres, consisting of, in effect, the GAF property, the Clico property behind it, and the
Stony Brook.
thank you, Stony Brook. That was the word I was looking for. So it appears that we can meet all of our requirements, limiting to those 3 locations. And the Ann and Hope property would require that the ground floor be commercial or office space or what have you. So we wouldn't be giving up that as a potential commercial property.
Great.
I have that's for 20 minutes, June 11th.
Okay.
At 7:30.
20
Great.
minutes?
Well, if you guys get it in advance, hopefully you'll like this version.
To give him credit, it was actually reasonably concise.
Yeah.
It was-
Yeah, that was very good.
So that was, I have to give him credit on that, because sometimes he gets a little wordy, but he did a good job of doing that. All right, so I think with that, we have to set the meeting. What was the date? And we have to set a June meeting?
We have to.
All right.
And you said you won't be
I don't know, we'll find out on that. Yeah, I haven't set the,
On the 16th.
So June,
July.
July 12th.
No, July 12th is a Friday.
June 11th.
Oh, I do remember, okay. All right, so July.
Would have to be the 9th or the 16th.
Sure.
Right.
Doesn't matter to me.
What do you want, July 16th? Is that what
Either the
Sure.
9th or the 16th.
When'd you say?
Sure, why not?
The
It's
16th?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okey dokey. All right, and with that, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. See you, Scott.
Hey, good luck with everything.